All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and we are back in the 5.7 beta APK test server, whatever you want to call it, man. And finally, we're gonna be taking our first look at these new uniforms. I know I've been saying that for the past couple videos, but it's actually going to be happening in this one. Okay, so let's jump right into it, man. Y'all have waited long enough. And to kick things off, we're going to be starting with the uniform that I think majority of us are disappointed with visually and in terms of performance as well. This uniform right here for Captain America, not even gonna lie, visually it looks cool, but it's just not for me. I think this uniform should have definitely gone to somebody like Crossbones. It just kind of fits, right? Him more so than Captain America. Like looking at this, if I didn't see the star on his chest and the A on his like forehead there, I would never think that this is Captain America. But when he plays, he uses a shield. So yeah, anyways, the point is, this uniform for me, it's not one that I would be recommending if it was being sold for crystals. However, fortunately for us, we're not in that situation. It is a free uniform that you get at some point from completing the story missions. How good is it? Well, the thing is, I think if you have anything past Infinity War, this uniform is probably not going to be something you use very often. If anything, it is going to be more like a trophy uniform, because I definitely think the endgame uniform and team suit is way better than this thing right here. If anything, this is mainly for new players and people who are just coming to Marvel Future Fight and they have absolutely no uniforms for Captain America, because the base kit was outdated 5 years ago, well, coming close to 5 years ago, right? So this is definitely a good upgrade from that. Now, I have the uniform at advanced right here. So for those of you guys who want to see the uniform bonus, I will show it to you really quickly. I ran out of materials in terms of trying to get it to at least legendary, but I will try in the next couple of days to give you guys some more of the options, because I myself, once I get it, since it is a trophy uniform, out of like love for the character, I will get it to mythic. I'm gonna just say that right now. In terms of the uniform bonus, you can see it is pretty much the exact same as what he had on the endgame uniform, so not much has changed in that regard. However, in terms of the skill effects, you're going to notice a bit of a difference here. So the 2 skill on this uniform actually has damage accumulation, and it also has 4 seconds of immunity, whereas with this one right here, the immunity is actually on the 1 skill and it is for 3 seconds instead of 4. Right here we do not have any immunity on the 2 skill. And going back to this uniform, you can see the 3rd skill is pretty plain, the 4th skill is pretty plain, and that is something that you should keep in mind, because we all know that in the team suit or the endgame uniform for Captain America, it's pretty lit. Defense down and invincibility. This is one of the main selling points for these 2 uniforms right here. That is now gone in this new uniform, so it immediately is out of the question when it comes to, can this new uniform for Captain America keep up with the last one? No, it is definitely not going to be replacing either the team suit or the endgame uniform, so you can take a breath. You can breathe a sigh of relief. The visuals on this, and this to some extent, is definitely better for me, and it looks like the stat buffs as well are also better. And if you take a look at the 5th skill, you'll notice that the buff is actually not there. What buff am I talking about? This buff right here, the ignore defense and the 25% all attack and the all speed and all defense buff. So yeah, definitely a big downgrade from these 3 uniforms in my opinion, right? So you should keep that in mind if you are trying to say, you know what, I didn't have any uniforms for Captain America, I'm going to rely on this one. It's good compared to everything else, like all of the previous reiteration of Captain America leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. So just keep that in mind. I will show you guys some gameplay with it in the next couple of days, but I don't want to spend the entire video showcasing different skill effects and all that stuff. Moving on, we will be jumping over to the one that you guys probably are curious about. Tony 3000, or in this case, it's Tony 3099. I've been calling him Tony 3 Stacks for the longest time because he says, you know, We love you 3000. I love you 3000. And here we are with that 23,000 uniform. Crazy. We basically spoke it into existence. Mr. 3 stacks. How good is he compared to the end game uniform? And you guys can see I have it up at legendary. That's because I love Iron Man, and this uniform is going to get to mythic. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about how good it is. But before that, let me show you guys the options, since that's what most of you guys are probably here to see. Most of you are probably going to get it up to mythic because you love Iron Man, and I can't blame you. 23 stacks, baby. 23 stacks. And let me show you guys the last one here. It is Wolverine. Many of us have that, as disappointing as it may be. The uniform bonus effect is exactly the same. You can see he creates a shield for 25% of his HP, and it refreshes by 10% every 1 second, and there's a 30% absorption rate there. It's exactly the same as the one he had before. The all defense and the super armor is also the same. You can see for yourself right there. Not saying this is how it's going to come to the game. This is what it is right now on the test server. Keep in mind, everything you see here is subject to change for the most part, okay? Usually the uniform upgrade options stay the same, but these stat effects can definitely change, and stuff that's not listed on the skills can also be added on later. Okay, so just keep that in mind. 1 skill is pretty plain, 2 skill is pretty plain, 3 skill, you can see it's just a guard hit, 4th skill, nothing, 5th skill, it is an attack buff with immunity. You see, this uniform right away, even though it looks really cool, I'm happy it didn't go to Doom, because the buffs on this would definitely have done nothing for Dr. Doom. It would just be like additional stats. So thankful for that. If anything, this should have gone to Moon Knight, okay? It would definitely have made Moon Knight relevant, okay? Anyways, but long story short, the endgame team suit or the endgame uniform, they're gonna trump these by a landslide. You know what I'm saying? Both Captain America and Iron Man, they didn't need uniforms, and it really shows, because now these uniforms don't even come close to the ones that they got recently, right? So just keep that in mind. We have the defense down on this one with a 30% HP recovery, right? And the snapperoni, you know, how you like your pizza? What do you want on your pizza? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, legendary uniform, one of my all-time favorites. So I'm happy that it's still gonna stick around for a good little while, but I will have my fun with this one right here, because I think it looks really cool. Like the interior part of the freaking cape there, that blue, it just looks so sick. And the back of his cape right here kind of reminds me of a hunter from Destiny. Yeah, I used to play Destiny. Anyway, so let's move on to another uniform here, and we'll take a look at Black Widow. We'll leave Shirag for last, right? So Black Widow, I also got her uniform up to heroic, and this is one that I'm going to get to mythic myself, just because I want to see how it compares to the one she had previously, because even though this and this were an upgrade compared to the ones she had before, it wasn't enough to make her relevant in the eyes of most people, and for me as well. However, let me show you guys the uniform options here really quickly. So you can see we have Thor's theme suit right there for the first one. Then we have Crystal, Fantastic Four. That's a good uniform, right? And the next one here, we have Star-Lord, Infinity War. That is really good as well. Most people will have that since it's the best uniform for Star-Lord. And the last one here is Moon Girl. And I will try to get some XP chips to try and push this to legendary, so I can show you guys the last option, okay? So in regards to the effects now, let's take a look at it. You can see we have the crit rate increase, the crit damage increase by 15%, and it is the same from the team suit. They basically copied that, okay? Nothing wrong with that in my opinion, especially since it's a free-to-play uniform. If anything, honestly, the visuals alone make this a uniform that is worth having, right? I really like it, but I think it should have gone to Sin. It even looks like Sin. I don't know about you guys, but like, let me give you a close-up. Honestly, that looks more like Sin than Black Widow to me, but maybe I'm blind. Anyways, moving on. 1 skill, nothing to write home about. The paralysis doesn't work in War Boss. 2 skill, dodge rate, nothing to write home about. 3 skill, nothing to write home about. 4th skill, nothing to write home about. And 5th skill, same deal, nothing to write home about. Gameplay performance, we'll take a look at that in another video. But for now, in terms of skill effects, it's nothing here for Black Widow. but iframes will definitely be something of note. Keep in mind that on this uniform though, she has damage immunity. As short as it may be, it does allow her to transition between her skills quite safely, and she can get off respectable damage, right? So just keep that in mind. But then again, when I seen that she was getting a uniform from the get-go, I knew it wasn't going to be like a super heavy-duty uniform, because she's due for another one in like 6 months. So I knew that something like this was going to happen, and that's why it would have been better off going to somebody like Sin, because then it would have been more relevant. But I understand the thematics of it all, like, you know, story mission rework. It's fine. Okay, let's move on. And then we have Shirag. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a hard one for me to cover, because I like how it looks. You know what I'm saying? I really like how it looks. I love the Spartan look. She looks like a gladiator, right? She always did look like a gladiator, but she really looks like a gladiator, and she kind of looks like an Asgardian at the exact same time. Basically, an Asgardian gladiator. And because of that, I can't help but think that this uniform should have gone to somebody like Valkyrie, who needs a uniform, or Sif, who definitely needs a uniform, because she's never been relevant. I'm sorry, she's gotten a uniform and she's never been relevant. And I think the shield and the lance should have definitely been a shield and a sword, and it should have gone to Sif. So Future Fight team, you missed the ball there. But this one is definitely going to sell for obvious reasons. Sharon Rogers was already one of the most powerful characters in the game, and when you see what they did for her uniform bonus and the new effects that she got, this is definitely weaker than this. Maybe, right? If the skills on this uniform hit as hard as they did on this one right here, then yes, this uniform is going to be better, because of the fact that we have more chain hit sauce right now. So for the rest of the uniforms, the other three that are free to play, they basically just copy paste the uniform bonus. However, for this one, you can see that they copy paste and increased it, right? The chain hit from 10% to 20%, which means with a CTP of energy, which is the perfect CTP for Sharon Rogers. Some people have used her with Rage and they've gotten better results. However, for a character like Sharon Rogers, I think a CTP of energy is good enough to get the job done everywhere, right? Except PvP. But, you know, CTP of energy never gets used in PvP unless you're me and you're using cable. Anyways, the point is, right, this is definitely a noticeable upgrade on the uniform bonus there for Sharon Rogers. Moving on, one thing that you guys were hoping to see from her is defense down. And unfortunately or fortunately, that was not the case, right? But another thing that she did get here though is a heal on a 6.5 second cooldown. Every time you hit Shirag's 5th skill, she will now heal. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I know some of you guys are super salty now, because you could have gone without the 10% chain hit and be fine. But I know most of you guys are going to look at this heal and you're going to be like, it's a must buy. I have to have it now, because that's basically one of the only problems with Shirag. You can die very easily if you stand in the poison and wall boss and you don't have somebody like Anti-Venom on your team. But now with a 10% heal, you can just tank and tank and tank and tank and just keep healing every 6.5 seconds, because the 5th skill is going to be, like always, a part of your skill rotation. This uniform is, unfortunately or fortunately, a must buy. If you didn't have any uniforms for her, you lucked out. You get to skip spending crystals on all these. But this one is definitely something that is worth purchasing. I would say if you have this one right now and you're free to play, wait until Black Friday. I know Black Friday just came, so it's like almost a full year from now, right? But I would say wait until Black Friday and pick this up, because this is good enough, but this just offers you more damage and more survivability. So it's completely understandable if you want to pick this up and just make your gameplay experience better. Not saying it's a wasted uniform. I'm just saying it's a uniform that would be better suited on a character that actually needed the uniform. Let me show you guys the options here. So last one is Spider-Man in the stealth suit, right? And the other one at the beginning here is your Poppy, your daddy, right? We got Captain America, Steven Rogers. I'm just joking, Steve, but whatever, doesn't matter. And then we have Magic. This one actually kind of cheesed me when I seen it because I'm like, oh, really? It's the freaking energy attack stat. I know I have it at physical. I didn't pre-roll any of these. I just upgraded the uniform so I could give you guys the options and share my thoughts with you guys on the overall uniforms. Okay, so basically this one kind of cheesed me because now I'm toying with the idea of using uniform tickets to rank up this Magic uniform, which really didn't do jack shit for her for the most part because she's still basically just chilling in the background. Sorry for swearing, but I'm just kind of salty still. Anyways, moving on. Next one is Ronin, and the final one here is Ebony Maw. This is a tier 2 native uniform, one that I think I still have a like advanced or normal because I barely use Ebony outside of the support role, but I'm seeing it pop up more and more now in other characters' uniform options. So I guess it's time for me to bite the bullet, invest the gold in the black antimatter, and get it up to heroic at the very least. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the uniform options that I currently have unlocked for all 4 of the new uniforms. And this one right here is an advanced, so we'll try to get it up to heroic so you guys can see what it looks like. But I think off the 4, this is probably the one that you guys care the least about because honestly, it looks bad. Oh, let me show you guys Crescent's uniform options because even I don't have this thing at Mythic on my own account, but I know since he's getting tier 3, some of you guys may be interested in seeing what the uniform options are. All right, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I bid you adieu. We are going to wrap things up right here. Hit me in the comments, hit me on Discord, let me know what else you guys want to see from me. Till next time, stay safe. I love you guys. Peace out.